gonna have a great time doing it. So we're gonna wait for our gauge. I got it where I wanted at 35 psi. Now this may be a little high. Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Defiant Jeep. Today we got another treat. We're doing another upgrade on Defiant. As a matter of fact, you can see the Defiant's backed in, which is going to be a little off the norm. Since what we're doing today, we don't normally start from the back, but both sides are going to be done the same. Front to rear, the procedure is identical. So long as it's backed in, we'll go ahead and start from the back. So let me give you an idea of what we're working on today. Now, please excuse the mess of my garage, but we will be installing these two painted MetalCloak diff covers. We got the Dana 44 for the rear and the Dana 30 for up front. Now, in order to help us get these two diff covers installed, of course, MetalCloak did supply new bolts and silicone to create a gasket. I went ahead and I collected some tools. I got a, I believe it's a 30mm socket with an extension and a ratchet. I'm also going to use my my drill to help me back out the bolts after they're loosened, just so I can take them out faster. I picked up a scraper, just any scraper. So I'm just going to use this to help me pry the diff cover off of the differential housing. And I got me a pump for the differential oil. Now I don't necessarily believe I'm going to need it for the back, since the rear I've got so much space. And I went ahead and relocated my muffler so I don't got that big 30-ounce trash can where the factory muffler should be. That's gone, so I got ample space to work in the rear. It's going to be a little bit more difficult up front, but we're still going to make it happen. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Let's get all set up, and we're going to start to remove the diff cover, drain the oil. We're going to apply the new diff cover with silicone to make a gasket seal on it, and then we're going to fill it up. All right, let's just hang in there. Let me get prepared, and we'll get on our way. Alrighty, we are set to go. As you can see by down there, I've got my tools already set up. I went ahead and I got an oil drain pan, a couple sockets, a ratchet, some extensions. My drill is down there, and I wasn't 100% sure on how I'm supposed to get this done. I'm going to be honest, it's my first time doing it. That's why I'm actually excited about doing it. Now, I went ahead and I loosened the 10 perimeter bolts. One of them was like super difficult to get to, only because it's not lifted. It's a factory height Jeep. The rear anti-sway bar is kind of in the way of my socket and my ratchet, so I tried a shorty socket with a swivel or a universal joint, and even the angle, I still couldn't get it in there. So I went ahead and I loosened it up with an open end wrench, and then backed it out a little bit with the ratcheting end of the box wrench. So I will be able to get all these items out. Tightening that very last bolt is going to be a bit challenging. We're supposed to tighten to about 20 to 25 foot-pounds. So I got a torque wrench that's going to help me measure that. Right now my challenge is to make sure that they're all tightened appropriately. So, let me grab that. Let's go ahead and climb on down there and let's get started. Like I said, that most of these bolts are already loosened. So I'm going to put a socket at the end of my drill just to back them out real quick. And I'm going to start to drain the pumpkin. Alrighty, here we go. Let me grab my 13mm socket, and I use a deep well for the most part of it. I got my oil pan ready. Let's go ahead and start backing these guys out. Now I don't expect much oil to come out of there, since it's still very heavily sealed, and I got a magnetic little pan right next to me where I'm tossing the bolts. So, oop, there's one. Let me grab that before it gets lost. Ooh, it'd probably be a good idea to take this cap off of the oil drain pan, just so I don't get it all soiled and saturated. Let me see what else we got. This guy was a little angly, but we got him. We got that. What else we got? We got this guy up here. Keep the top two. Let's bring this guy back in a couple threads. Now we're gonna leave the top two, maybe a couple thread in, just loose and dangly, for the fact that we're gonna lose a lot of fluid super quick, and I don't want to drop the diff cover and make a huge mess. So we're gonna peel back the diff cover a little bit. Get in there. There we go. I don't want to strip you. I mean, I don't know how big it's gonna be. The differential itself is probably heavy steel or cast iron, but the bolt is not. If I strip that and break it in there, I'm in a world of hurt. Okay, so that part's done. Now let me get this guy out of my way. Let's put this bolt in here so I don't lose him. Fairly decent bolts. Okay, I got my oil pan in the way. The drain is open. I'm gonna use my scraper. Now I just picked up any scraper from Harbor Freight, no big deal, right? I'm trying to be as gentle as I can because I don't want to really bite into the surface of the differential. I still want to be able to make a good seal. So maybe I should use a rubber mallet, which would probably be some good advice. Yeah, I think that's some sound advice. Let me go get a rubber mallet. Alrighty, here we go. Let me see. Got the edge going like that, so it's gonna be kind of like. Just want to peel it back enough, but I'm trying not to make a super huge mess because I don't own this property. I rent. And I don't need the landlord talking smack. I don't need the neighbors talking smack. So I'm going to be as considerate as possible to the property and to myself. I don't want to make a super huge mess of it. So this is going to be a little bit right here. Where's a good wedge? Come on, you. I'm trying to get you in there. There we go. There it is. Okay, I have officially broken the seal. There she goes. And this is why we keep the top two bolts on there, because this fluid is going to come out crazy. There you go. Let's open up that valve right there. It's gonna drain in a whole lot faster. That's wonderful. Look at that. Looks like a nasty swimming pool out of somebody's plumbing. That's just wonderful. Look at that. The oil's not even all that dirty. I mean, it's not black. It's got a dark tint of brown, but it is not dirty. Yeah. I've been driving on this differential for just over 50,000 miles. I've never changed the oil, and I'm surprised that it's still this clean. That is friggin' awesome. So I don't know why the dealer says change the oil every 20,000 miles or something like that. Maybe it's for them to draw you in for a little maintenance business. Obviously we didn't need it. And the only reason we're doing it today is because we're gonna swap out that differential cover. It's gonna look awesome. All right, now the fun part. Okay, I've officially got all of the bolts out. It's still dangling there because it's stuck on the gasket, so let's peel this back. All right. Look at that, folks. Look at that. I'm gonna put this old diff cover to a side right here. So it looks like there was no gasket there originally anyways. Looks like they used a silicone of some sort. Where's that dirty paper towel? Well, I don't know how dirty I want to refer to it as dirty because the oil's still pretty clean for 50,000 miles, you know? Which is super awesome. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and get a scraper. Now, I'm going to use this razor blade. This is going to be my scraper, and I'm going to remove all of this silicone residue. I'm going to make this surface as clean as humanly possible as what I can get with this. I'm going to spray it down with some brake cleaner because that seems to be an awesome disinfectant to take off remove any petroleum residue. And then we're going to seal it back up. Let's go ahead and get started here. Alrighty, since the rear diff cover has already been removed and we cleaned up, I guess, the surface area as best we can, and we did disinfect it with some brake cleaner to get it off as clean as possible without any oil residue or lubricant residue. We're going to go and move forward. Now we're going to prep the rear diff cover with the silicone that was provided by MetalCloak. Now, in order for me to install it, let me grab this for a second. Let me squat down. I'm going to try another method. Now, I know that you've seen a bunch of diff covers replaced in the past. You know, everybody's trying to get off this regular stamped steel diff cover and put their nice bulletproof or bombshell, whatever they want to call it. You know, but they're trying to do their best to hold it straight as it can while trying to put in the screws. So I'm going to try another method because I'm doing this by myself. I'm not as young as these other fellas. I'm probably not as strong as these other fellas. And this is a very heavy diff cover. It's ductile cast iron. So it, you know, it's been tested to withstand a tremendous amount of force. So you can imagine how heavy it is. So I'm going to use these two, I'm going to say about 3 inches that I had cut from some 1/4 inch little rod I got from the arts and crafts store. I can't remember if it was like Joann Fabrics or Michael's or what's the other place, Hobby Lobby, whatever it was. So I just cut about 3 inches. I made 2 of them where I'm going to put in the location where the top bolts go. This is going to help guide me as a dowel, just to help me hold it in place while I put the bolts back into the differential cover to seal the diff cover itself. But first, let's go ahead and start preparing the diff cover with a generous amount of silicone. Alrighty, so here is our Dana 44. We are going to, I guess we're going to use this as a cover, and I'm not too concerned about the paint finish because this is a plastic surface that we're on, so we should be good. And this should already been very, very clean. But you know what? Give us a second. Let's get a piece of paper towel. We're going to disinfect it one more time. And this is, of course, because it's been in storage for a little bit, you know. So I am going to hold this away from my face as I spray my paper towel, and I'm just gonna wipe the surface of it to make sure it's clean and disinfected. Oh, I'm glad I did that. Look at that mess. It makes a big difference when you put these on and the seal goes. Yeah, keeps on coming. So yeah, I'm glad I did this. There you go. We should be good with the. Oh gosh, even my gloves are super dirty. Yeah, it feels nice and clean. I'm trying to touch it with the edge of my little finger, but like at my second knuckle, and it feels pretty clean where it's not slippery and whatnot. There's a grab to it, so I think we're good. Let's go ahead and grab their silicone. This is the Sierra gear and axle silicone that was provided by MetalCloak, and there's enough on here I can be pretty generous about it. I know most guys, you just like to draw one bead and go around the perimeter. I am the spreader type, so I'm gonna spread enough. I'm gonna spread it generously all around. I want to guarantee my seal. As I mentioned, it is my first time doing this. I ain't about to ruin my Jeep for something that I kind of half-ass don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so we poked that all the way. We're gonna give this a generous seal around the perimeter. And luckily you get one tube with each differential cover, so you got enough to go around. So if you want to be real generous with it, it's your call. I mean, I don't know what the rules are. How generous are you allowed to be? I don't know. I think it's maybe a mechanic preference. You know, of course, after some experience, and these guys really know what they're doing. I am just a regular guy. I like making videos. I like working on my Jeep. I like working on everybody else's Jeep. At the same time, just like you, I'm learning as I go along. You know, I never claimed to be a professional mechanic. You guys know this. So, all right. Let's stop that right there. I'm gonna put this cap back on here. Got a teensy weensy bit left. Now here's the good part. We're gonna spread this like butter on my toast. Now I didn't use a thick bead. I probably used about 3/8 thick on the bead. I don't know if that's a lot. I don't know if that's too little. That's why I like to just to spread some with my finger, and I'm going all the way around the perimeter of the diff cover. That looks mighty dandy if I don't say so myself. All right, let me go ahead. I'm going to change my gloves. I am going to make my way back to the differential cover. I'm going to slip my homemade dowels in the top 2 bolts. It's going to help me guide. And then we're going to go install this puppy. Hang in there for one moment. Alrighty, we made ourselves way back here. Let me just get this little drip. I'm going to do my best to clean that off. And it looks pretty good. I hope that there's no more drip off of that. I should have thought of this a little bit more clearly when I started playing around. What do I do with my screws? Oh, shucks. I grabbed my screws. Alrighty. Got my screws. Got my socket. Now this is a 1/4 inch Allen that fits these bolts that were provided by MetalCloak. So we're going to take advantage of that. Let us see how we can get this done. Whew. My goodness, I'm trying to keep you clean, bro. You keep sweating. Okay, I'll get that in a minute. See how this is gonna work. This is a pretty thick cover. Where's one of my dowel holes? Oh, no, 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 don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. There you go, that's one. Where's the other? There, got my other one in there. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Alrighty, and I'm running out of clean paper towel for this section right here. I just got silicone all over my gloves and a little on my forearm, which I shouldn't sweat too much. I can actually tell my wife I did something today. Oh, there it is. Wrong forearm. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a little bit of an effort to get off. Now, this silicone stinks. It smells really bad. It's got this strong vinegary kind of smell to it. Now, this is an RTV. RTV stands for room temperature vulcanization. So what that means is that you have so much time, because it starts to settle pretty quick. You know what I mean? It once you pop the seal on there, it immediately starts to die. You know, and what I mean by that, it means it starts to harden. So we're gonna put these in as fast as we can. Now the oh, that's the drain plug, my bad. The manufacturer of the silicone suggests that once you apply it, give it about 5 minutes to settle. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna apply it, we're gonna tighten it to spec, and we're gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes so it can form its bonding seal. Oh, you're gonna be a toughie, aren't you? Can we do it? Huh? You gonna play with me, bro? I think I got you in. I'm gonna have to handle you with a ratchet. Looks mighty damn pretty, bro. Take that out. But my idea worked, that's for sure. That one's gonna be a problem. How am I gonna get that one in there? Jim Dandy to the rescue. Jim Dandy to the rescue. Will this even fit? Oh no, 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 no. Why are you doing me like that? We will figure out something, but first, let's get all these guys wound in there. Now, mind you, as I'm winding these in, I'm just handling them by hand. I'm not even putting any force on them, I'm just getting them to seat. Oops. So we got 10 bolts. Now, manufacturer's recommended spec for tightening these bolts is 20 to 25 foot-pounds. I got a 3/8 inch micrometer type torque wrench. So we're gonna go ahead and, it's already set to 20 psi. I'm gonna grab it, and I am, let me see, I got 10 bolts. I can't get to this one, so I want this to be my last. So I'm gonna pretend it's my first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where's the 10th one? Oh goodness. Yeah, my bolt pattern sucks. Let me see. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got it. All right, let me go get my torque wrench. I had to figure that part out for a second. I think I got it. Let me go get my torque wrench. Oh. All right. So we're gonna start here. This is gonna be our number one. That's it, 20 foot-pounds. Oh no! How you gonna do me like that, bruh? One. 2. 3. 4. Smooth move. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I should be able to get away with what I got till I figure out how to tighten that last one, but I know it's there. Where is, well, sugar smacks. I wish I had something to help me provide 20 foot-pounds. What size is that again? Which is a 1/4 inch? Oh, it's right here. Dumbass. Yeah, 1/4 inch. I wonder, hey, I'm gonna try something. Maybe I can get away with an Allen wrench that's got a ball end on it. Maybe give me a little bit of flex. Alrighty. I'm back down here. Got me an Allen wrench. And on this end, it's got a little ball, like a swivel. Let me see if I can get enough in there. Just to see if I can bottom it out some so the bolt doesn't stay dangling there. Because that would suck to really lose it. think I made contact with it. I did. How would I tighten this little guy though? That's the issue. You know, I'm gonna try the old school Miami way of doing things. And I'm not making fun of my people, you know, but when you gotta improvise, you do like the Marines, improvise. All right, so let me take that guy out of there. Let's see if I can give it a twist, a little bit more, a flatter angle. All right. If this works, I'm gonna label myself a shade tree genius. Oh my God, it works. Ah. Well, that's it for right now. Anyways, I'm not gonna force it until I figure out a way to get this out of my way. The rear anti-sway bar. How to get it out of my way without dismantling it. Yeah, I could take it apart. It's just 2 bolts, 1 on each end, but it's such a pain in the backside to put it back together. So I'm trying to get around it, but that'll do for right now. All right, so I'm gonna give it 5 minutes from this point. I'm gonna let the RTV vulcanize or harden. During the wait time, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the drain plug in and keep the fill plug on the ready. I'll be back to start filling up the differential, see how we do. Alrighty, I'll be right with you. Alrighty, Defiant Jeepers, we are about done here. We waited our 5 minutes for the silicone to vulcanize. So I believe it's very well sealed at this point. I went ahead and I put in the drain plug so that nothing comes out as I pour it in. And I set the fill plug here just to keep it debris free while I walked away and let the RTV do its thing. Okay, so now we're all set. I went ahead and I prepared my bottles. I took the seal off of the neck. The pouring spout, I went ahead and I cut it to the diameter that I wanted. Now keep in mind that when these are made by MetalCloak, they are considering that you are lifting your Jeep. That means the axle is going to twist in position after the lift. That keeping in mind, this fill hole is not in the same OE position as the factory differential cover. So normally we would fill it until it starts to dribble a little bit by the threads. But I did look it up, and the rear actually does take 2 full quarts of this right here. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go ahead and pour in 2 full quarts of this oil, and we should be done. From there, all we're going to do is monitor it. And by that, what I mean by that is I'm going to spin it around so I can prepare the front to get done. And I'm going to put a piece of cardboard under this diff after it's spun over, facing the other way, just to make sure there's no dribble. I'm confident that my job is done. I mean, it's pretty much a remove the cover, put a new one on. You know, it's not rocket science. But you're messing with an expensive piece of equipment that requires a lot of lubrication. So yeah, you wanna keep an eye on it. I mean, if you let it sit for a little bit, X amount of time, whatever, it's 15 minutes, half hour, 1 hour. You know, if it's not leaking, it's not leaking. If you see a little dribble, find the dribble, fix it. Fix it right away. As they say in some construction sites, man, good enough for government work, right? All right. Where is my spout cover? We'll put that on there for now. Doesn't make a difference, it's going right in the dumpster. Let me grab my fill plug. A big old Allen wrench with the swivel end on it. And now the drain plug and the fill plug already came lined with some sort of Teflon coating that MetalCloak put on there, or was on there when they bought it. So that's good. That's something less I had to do. So I'm just giving this a nice little winding, tight enough where it won't back out, but not loose enough where I still have to. Oh, here we go. There we go. Good enough for government work. This here side is all done. Let's give it a nice little look. Whoops. Look at that beautiful thing under the Defiant MetalCloak diff cover, and a fresh oil change. Right on. Let me take that one more time. Okay, so from this point right here, I'm gonna drag the rest of my stuff out from under this Jeep. I am going to spin Defiant around, meaning I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna pull it back in. So the front of the Jeep is facing my garage, so I have some kind of shade to work in because it's like super hot right now in Nevada. At the same time, under this differential cover that I just installed, I'm going to put a piece of cardboard under it. I'm going to monitor for a leak. I know it's sealed. I'm 100% confident it's sealed. I just want to be 100% sure where that 99.99 ain't going to fly. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this done. Alrighty, so actually after pulling Defiant out, spinning them around, and putting them back in the driveway with the front of Defiant facing the garage, I took a break, had me a little lunch. It's all good. Gave me a chance to, of course, rest a little bit, which wasn't a lot of work. But it made me think, and I kept on thinking, because I'm one of these OCD characters that I can't leave stuff unfinished. And that one bolt was really bothering me. And I know I've been saying anti-sway bar, the rear anti-sway bar, which is incorrect. That's the rear track bar. It's in the way. So I said, let me try and lift it by the frame. As you can see, I put my jack on the frame, not the axle, and I lifted the frame, and I'm kind of thinking maybe this will let the rear axle droop a little bit and make way, and that's exactly what happened. By lifting the Jeep by the chassis, I was able to move the differential lower as I lifted the chassis, and the rear track bar actually got out of the way, so I was able to access that last bolt. As you can see, I'm happier to pig in mud right now, so I'm ready for the next stop. And being since the front of the Defiant, like I said, right now he's riding stock height. He hasn't been lifted yet. So I am going to attempt the same thing. I am going to lift the front by the chassis on both sides, sustain it with jack stands. Hopefully that gives me better access to the differential cover itself, because right now it's sitting pretty low, very hard to get to, hard to maneuver or manage. So if I can make myself enough ample space, I should be able to get it done. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Alrighty, so at this point, I got myself all set up. I went ahead and I jacked up the driver's side of Defiant by the chassis, and I let the differential hang. And I'm using a 6-ton jack stand. Not for the fact that it actually has a capability of sustaining 6 tons, but for the fact that it's, without being extended, it's already 6 inches taller than the 3-ton jack stands. That just gave me a little bit more, I want to say, confidence in the issue, that he's been held up right. I know that 3-ton jack can do it, but if the 6-ton jack is taller, bigger, a lot more sturdier, I feel a little bit more comfortable down there, because it's a lot of heavy equipment. I mean, each corner of the Jeep can be about 1,000 pounds, and you got all that weight that has a possible chance of crashing down on you, which I know is not going to happen. At the same time, it's a big help to droop the suspension, and being since the Defiant is factory height, it is pretty low for a big swollen guy at my age to get under there. Like I said, I don't have the luxury convenience of having a lift. This would have been so much easier. The job would have been done already. I'm just constantly fumbling back and forth in my driveway with hand tools, but it's still happening. Let me give you an idea what the differential looks like now with one side of the Jeep lifted. Alrighty, so right there, you can see. Oh, let me move that a little bit. You can see that with the jack stand in its place over there, I got the jack on the ready. Now all the weight is on the jack stand. The jack is just ready in case I just need to pump it up. But the differential and the pumpkin is now very much exposed. I have a lot of easy access to the 10 bolts for the differential cover. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself ready. I'm going to put my old drain pan down there. Going to gather all my tools like I did earlier today for the rear. And this is going to be exactly the same procedure as I did for the backside, only we're doing it for the front. It's still 10 bolts. We're still gonna drain. We're still gonna replace the cover, and then we're gonna fill, make sure it's sealed properly. So this shouldn't take long. Let me get my tools together and we're gonna get started. Alrighty, with the diff cover installed and all the bolts torqued to manufacturer spec. In fact, I went ahead and around. I didn't show you this, but I initially did them at 20 foot-pounds, and then I went back and did them at 25, and I did the same for the rear, just to keep everything a little synonymous there, or symmetrical in a sense. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a little OCD, so if I do it for one, I got to do it for all. Now I'm looking over here, and I probably don't have a lot of space to pour the bottle like I did for the rear, so I'm going to try this fluid pump. Now this particular one, I made sure it was rated for differential oil, or I don't want to call it gear grease, but axle oil. There's another fluid pump that was a little less expensive, seriously like $2-3 less, you know, but it didn't have the rating for differential oil, so I spent the extra $2 or $3 and I got the right one, or the one I believe is the right one. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this plug here, and the only reason I kept it there, just like the rear, to keep debris from flying in there, I've let all of the silicone sealant take its effect, do the 5-minute thing like the other, and yeah, I'm gonna clean this up by the time we're finished. I just want to make sure that everywhere that needs to be sealed is completely done. So let's see how this one works. I'm gonna take the top off of this here bottle. I'm gonna, ooh, is this too tall? I actually just might be right. So if I pour this in here, oh, you're kidding me. No, it doesn't fit. Just my rotten luck. Good lordy. Well, we need to find out what option number 2 is. Oh, snaggletooth. Not cool at all. Alrighty, let me figure this part out. Alrighty, I think I found myself an option. Probably not the best choice, but it's something I think I can get away with here. Now, I got me a regular fluid transfer pump, being since the spout of my transmission oil fluid pump doesn't fit this bottle. So this should be simple in the perfect world, where I have an in and an out. I have the out already inserted into the differential. I hope it stays. I'm doing the best I can by myself. I'm gonna put the other end inside the bottle here, and let's give this some squeezes here. Ooh, it's tight. I'm gonna be here for a while. Alrighty, and there you have it. 2 differential covers, OEM, replaced by MetalCloak ductile cast iron diff covers. Paint matched to Defiant, filled with fresh oil front and rear, and all 20 bolts, 10 front, 10 back, checked and double checked at 25 foot-pounds of torque. Let's take a look at the end product before we sign off. Alrighty. Front diff, I know it's a little hard to see because the front is so low, but it is there. Alrighty. Now, let's take a look at the rear real quick. It'll be a whole lot easier to see since that big garbage can of a muffler is no longer in the way. And look at that beauty. My goodness. Alrighty. Alrighty, before we sign off, there's something else I wanted to mention. Now, this whole job was a desire, a want to do, you know, so I went in the direction that I chose. But keep in mind that there is going to be a lot of times when you may have a situation in hand where the existing diff cover on your vehicle is leaking. And at that point is a need, not a want. You can't go without oil. That is like the lifeblood of all the parts of your vehicle. That being said, if you can go and pick yourself up a gasket and do everything I did, you'll be perfect. If you cannot find a gasket, pick yourself up a tube of Permatex, either ultra gray or ultra black. Either one is phenomenal. I like the ultra black myself. It kind of blends into everything else. The gray will peek out a little bit. I happen to use the gray stuff that MetalCloak sent. Oh, and talking about that, I did have 2 tubes. One came with each diff, but I used more than half of per tube because I wanted to put a generous spread on there. Now I'm actually going to throw these out because, like I said, the seal's been broken on these. If I leave them sitting on the shelf, who knows how many months from now I'll think and say, yeah, I got some extra silicone. It's going to be as hard as a rock. Just throw it out. Use as much as you can. Buy appropriately so that you don't waste money on, over purchasing portions. But yeah, that's it. I'm actually proud of this Jeep. The next step on this one, I do have a couple of accessories. I'm changing, a few things here and there. But next step is really going to be a lift kit. I got a 4-inch lift kit, rough country. We're going to install that front and rear. We have new drive shafts, front and rear. And of course, other little parts that really complement the lift kit, like bump stops and little standoffs for the brake lines and stuff like that. Cute little things that just make it complete, or at least complete to me, because I'm real proud of my Jeep. I'm going to keep on doing so. The more I build it, the better it's going to be. What am I missing? Aside of, it's your Jeep, make it your own. And what I mean by that, it's your Jeep. Not give it your personality. Give it the way you want it to look, how you want it to react. So every time I tell you it's your Jeep, make it your own, I mean it, man. Give it your style. Give it your spin. Whatever you got to do. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Please join us on all our social platforms. Coming soon is www.defiantjeep.com. And don't forget about our Desert Wranglers Jeep Club. We go off-roading every weekend. So you can find us at www.desertwranglers.club. We love to see you on the trails. Have a great day.